Force yourself to be consistent means pushing past your mood, distractions, or excuses to repeatedly show up and do the work even when it's hard, boring, or inconvenient. It's about making discipline louder than motivation. You won't always feel like doing what's necessary, but consistency isn't about feelings, it's about commitment. You train yourself to show up daily, whether it's in the gym, at work, in your studies, or for your goals. Every day you keep showing up, you're building something: results, resilience, character. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently, so force it if you must, because one day what felt like force will become a habit, and that habit will change your life. Every single person who has ever achieved anything remarkable in this life has had one thing in common: they forced themselves to be consistent. Not when it was easy, not when it was convenient, not when they felt like it, but especially when they didn't. That's what separates the average from the exceptional, the ability to keep going when the mood to do so is long gone. You don't need more motivation, you need more discipline, you need more mental toughness, you need more reasons to act and fewer excuses not to, because nothing will work if you don't. Not a diet, not a workout plan, not a business strategy, not even a dream. Consistency is the invisible bridge between where you are now and where you want to be, and you'll never cross it by walking once in a while. The truth is simple but powerful. If you keep quitting, you'll keep starting over. And if you keep starting over, you'll never reach the end. Think about how many times you've made a promise to yourself to wake up early, to eat better, to focus more, to stop procrastinating, to grind harder, to dream bigger, and then broke that promise. Every time you break that promise, you weaken your confidence. You don't just delay results, you damage your belief in yourself. But the opposite is also true. Every time you force yourself to follow through, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're tired, even when no one's watching, you become stronger. You build self-trust. You become the kind of person who gets things done. Consistency is not about intensity, it's about frequency, it's about repetition. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be relentless. Show up, do the work, day after day after day. That's the real secret of success, doing ordinary things with extraordinary discipline. Anybody can do something great once. That doesn't impress the world. What's impressive is doing great things consistently, for years, without applause, without shortcuts, without handouts, without quitting. You want to be respected, be consistent. You want to be admired, be consistent. You want to transform your life, be consistent, because there is no growth without grind, no results without repetition, no legacy without long-term effort. People think they need motivation to get started, but they've got it backward. You don't wait to feel good to do the right thing, you do the right thing, and then you feel good. You build momentum through action. You build discipline through discomfort. You build results through routine. If you only show up when you feel like it, you'll never feel like it enough to achieve anything meaningful. Your emotions are temporary. Your habits are permanent. So stop letting a temporary feeling destroy your future. You are stronger than your excuses. You are better than your bad days. You are more capable than your doubts, but you have to prove that to yourself by doing what needs to be done consistently. Think about any skill in the world: playing an instrument, mastering a language, building a body, leading a team, writing a book, growing a brand. None of these things happen overnight. They happen through relentless practice, through thousands of tiny repetitions that seem insignificant in the moment but stack up into greatness. That's what consistency does. It compounds, it multiplies, it transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. The person who trains for an hour a day, every day, will always outperform the person who trains for 5 hours once a week. The person who writes a paragraph every day will finish their book before the person who waits for the perfect weekend to start. Consistency beats intensity when intensity lacks follow-through. Don't confuse excitement with commitment. Don't confuse good intentions with good habits. It's easy to get excited. It's easy to get inspired. It's easy to set goals. What's hard is sticking to them. What's hard is doing the same boring things over and over again without losing focus. But that's where the magic happens. In the mundane, champions are not created in bursts of glory. They are built in the silence of daily effort. They rise not because they never fall, but because they always get back up. They force themselves to be consistent even on the days when nothing feels worth it, especially on those days. Look around you. Look at the people you admire, the people who have built something meaningful, whether it's a business, a career, a physique, a skill, a relationship, or a legacy. Ask them their secret. You'll hear the same word repeated again and again: consistency. They didn't get lucky. They got up over and over again. They showed up when it didn't make sense. They kept going when everyone else quit. They ignored the distractions. They endured the setbacks. They overcame the doubts. They bet on themselves daily. That's what you have to do, not once, not twice, every single day. You think you need motivation? No, you need to wake up and make a decision that says, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not negotiating with laziness. I'm not making excuses. I'm not chasing comfort. I'm building discipline. I'm building consistency. I'm becoming someone who follows through, because when you do that, your life changes, your confidence skyrockets, your momentum builds, and people start to notice, not because you posted about it, not because you bragged about it, but because you lived it, you embodied it, you became it. Discipline is a skill, just like any other, and consistency is the practice that sharpens it. At first, it'll be hard, your mind will resist, your body will complain, your environment might not support you, but you keep going anyway, because success doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to what you do. Every time you win a battle against comfort, you become stronger. Every time you silence the voice that says skip it, you become more powerful. Eventually, your habits become part of your identity. You won't need to force yourself forever, but you do have to force yourself at the beginning. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Consistency is not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's repetitive. It's tedious. It's often lonely. But it's also the most powerful weapon you have. Because while others are waiting for perfect conditions, for ideal timing, for someone to motivate them, you'll already be miles ahead, not because you're better, but because you're more consistent. That's the difference maker. That's the separator. You're not stuck because you're incapable. You're stuck because you're inconsistent. You start things but don't finish. You commit for a week and then quit. You work hard when it's easy and disappear when it's hard. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can change that today, right now, by deciding that you're going to show up, whether you feel like it or not, that you're going to build habits, not just chase inspiration, that you're going to do the hard things consistently because your future demands it. Let others take breaks. Let others make excuses. Let others waste time. Not you. You have a vision. You have a mission. You have goals to crush, skills to build, a life to elevate. You weren't born to be average. You weren't built to be mediocre. But you will never reach greatness without consistency. Talent is nothing without consistency. Potential means nothing without execution. Ambition is empty without discipline. You need to put in the reps. You need to build the habits. You need to become obsessed with progress, not perfection progress, because progress, repeated daily, leads to results. Results build belief, and belief fuels momentum, and momentum, that's unstoppable. Once you taste what it's like to be consistent, you'll never want to go back, because you feel it, the shift, the confidence, the clarity, the control. You'll no longer be a victim of your moods or circumstances. You'll be the architect of your destiny. But it all starts with forcing yourself to be consistent, not just today, not just this week, but for life. This is your reminder that success is earned one day at a time, one workout, one study session, one sales call, one journal entry, one focused hour, one small win, repeated over and over again. Don't look for the finish line. Look for the next step, the next action, the next opportunity to show up, and then take it. Consistency is a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's a promise you make to yourself and refuse to break. Every time you force yourself to stay consistent, you're voting for the kind of person you want to become, the kind who doesn't quit, the kind who doesn't flinch, the kind who rises above circumstances. So build that version of you, feed it, Fight for it, show up for it, because no one's coming to save you, no one's coming to hand it to you, and no one's coming to make you consistent. That's your job, that's your power, that's your responsibility. So take a deep breath, get back, work, be relentless, be focused, be consistent, because the life you want isn't waiting on a miracle, it's waiting on you to show up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Force it. Because the day will come when you no longer have to, it'll just be who you are. And on that day, you'll realize consistency wasn't the hard part. It was the key all along. You're still here. That means there's a fire in you that hasn't died. That means you're not the kind of person who hears the truth and walks away. You're the kind of person who digs deeper, who leans in when others lean out. That says everything about you. And now it's time to take that fire and turn it into something real. It's time to not just want change, but to become the change, and that happens through one thing, relentless consistency. You've already been through enough in life to know that nothing worthwhile is ever handed to you. You've faced setbacks, doubts, distractions, and defeats, but you're still standing. So don't stop now. Don't let the weight of the journey fool you into thinking you're not getting anywhere. Progress isn't always obvious. Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like quiet mornings, tough decisions, silent battles, and long nights. But every time you show up, you're growing. Every time you choose action over excuse, you're evolving. Every time you keep your promise to yourself, you're winning. And that's what consistency truly is, a form of self-respect. It's saying, I matter, my goals matter, my future matters. It's acting on that belief, even when no one else believes in you, because the world won't always cheer you on. The world won't always understand your hunger, but that doesn't matter, because the one person who needs to believe is you, and belief is built through behavior. You don't just think your way into confidence, you act your way into it. You build it brick by brick, day by day, with every consistent action you take. That's how confidence becomes unshakable. That's how identity becomes unstoppable. You've got dreams, right? Big ones. You've got a vision of yourself operating at a higher level, stronger, smarter, more focused, more resilient. But that version of you doesn't just appear out of thin air. You build it, you earn it, and you do it by showing up when it's hard, when it's dull, when it's uncomfortable, when it's quiet. You do it by choosing the long road instead of the shortcut. You do it by understanding that no one wakes up great. They wake up disciplined, they wake up intentional, and then they choose greatness one consistent action at a time. It's time to stop waiting for life to get easier. It won't, and that's a good thing. Because strength is forged in resistance, character is built under pressure, champions are created in chaos. Don't pray for fewer problems, pray for stronger consistency. Because if you can stay consistent under pressure, under stress, under uncertainty, then there is nothing that can break you. You will become a force, a storm, an example, a light for others who have forgotten what it means to be committed. There will be days you don't see the results, days you question if it's worth it, days when it feels like you're running in place while the rest of the world flies past you. Don't stop. Don't break. That's just the test. That's just the filter separating the temporary from the timeless. The temporary grind for a week and then disappear. The timeless show up for a decade and become undeniable. You don't need to rush. You just need to refuse to stop. Let others sprint, you build. Endurance, let others burn out, you stay lit. Let others look for the easy way, you take the right way. That's how you win. That's how you last. And here's the truth most people never want to accept. Your future depends on your ability to stay consistent when no one is clapping. When there's no praise, no recognition, no immediate reward, can you keep going then? Can you look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm still here, I'm still grinding, I'm still becoming, even when it's invisible to everyone else, because the person who can do that, that's the person who becomes unbreakable. That's the person who earns success so deeply, nothing and no one can take it away. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, comfortable being bored, comfortable being misunderstood. You have to learn to silence the part of you that always wants to take the easy way out, because that part of you has never done anything great. That part of you is not your friend. It's the voice of fear, of mediocrity, of regret, and the only way to quiet it is through consistent action, not once, not twice, daily, relentlessly, until that voice doesn't even show up anymore because it knows you won't listen. Success belongs to those who make consistency their standard, not their option, not their hope, their standard. So ask yourself right now, what's your standard? What do you expect from yourself when no one's watching, when there's no deadline, when the feelings fade, because that standard will define your future? Raise it. Set it higher than you ever have before. Hold yourself to it with pride, with discipline, with non-negotiable fire, and don't just meet it, exceed it. That's what consistent warriors do. You want a better life, become better daily. You want peace, show up for yourself consistently, because neglect is the root of chaos. You want power, build your character consistently. You want more opportunities, become more valuable consistently. Stop waiting for the world to give you permission. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. Move, work, build, be consistent. Because while everyone else is sleeping on themselves, you'll be wide awake, building something real. Let this be the season of no more excuses, no more emotional decision making, no more quitting after a few days of effort, no more hoping for change. Make the change. No more living like time is unlimited. It's not. No more letting distractions steal your destiny. You've played it small long enough. You've dipped your toes in long enough. It's time to go all in, fully, relentlessly. Because if you can't be consistent with small things, how will you handle big things? If you can't stay loyal to your goals when no one's watching, how will you lead others when the pressure's on? If you won't do the work in silence, how will you stand out in the spotlight? You were not put on this earth to be average. You were built for more, and deep down you know it. You feel it. You've always felt it. But now it's time to prove it. Not just with your words, with your actions, with your effort, with your ability to show up, day in and day out, no matter what life throws at you. That's what consistent people do. They rise, they adapt. They refuse to bow to comfort. They stare down failure and say, "You won't have me." They keep going, no matter what, and you are one of them. So from this moment forward, you make a vow to yourself: I will be consistent, not perfect, not always motivated, but consistent. I will show up when I'm tired, when I'm scared, when I'm uninspired, when I'm overwhelmed, because my goals matter more than my feelings. My legacy matters more than my comfort. My dreams matter more than my excuses. I will not break my promise to myself. I will not cheat my future. I will not let time slip through my fingers because I was too distracted to be disciplined. You force yourself to be consistent now, so one day you won't have to force it anymore. It will just be who you are. The world won't understand how you got so far, how you became so strong, so successful, so unstoppable, but you'll know it wasn't luck, it wasn't talent, it wasn't timing, it was consistency. Quiet, focused, relentless consistency. That's the weapon no one talks about. That's the habit that changes everything. So go now, wake up tomorrow and do it again, and the next day, and the next, until your actions rewrite your identity, until your patterns overpower your doubts, until one day you look around and realize you built the life you once only dreamed of. And you did it not by waiting, not by wishing, but by showing up, every single day. You see, the world rewards those who refuse to quit. It rewards those who have the patience to stay the course when everyone else is looking for shortcuts. It rewards those who choose discipline over distraction, effort over excuse, and consistency over chaos. Every great person you admire didn't get there by chance. They didn't wake up and stumble into success. They earned it through repetition, through commitment, through showing up when it was inconvenient, when it was hard, when it hurt. They forced themselves to be consistent until consistency became second nature, and that's exactly what you must do now. You can't just dip your toe in the waters of discipline, you must dive in. You must decide right now that you will not abandon your journey just because the road gets rough, that you will not betray your dreams just because doubt whispers louder than usual. You must learn to trust the process not because it's fast, but because it's right, and you have to make peace with the truth that real results take time. Real growth demands patience, and lasting transformation is earned through consistent effort, not occasional intensity. Look around you. Look at the people who have everything you want: peace, purpose, power, success. You'll find one thing in common among them all: they didn't wait for motivation. They didn't wait for the perfect day, the perfect mood, or the perfect energy. They moved, they acted. They built routines that protected their progress. They trained their minds to ignore the noise and focus on the work. That's what it takes. That's what it will always take. And now it's your turn. It's your turn to become obsessed with consistency, to fall in love with the process, to commit so fully that quitting is no longer part of your vocabulary. You don't miss days not because you're perfect, but because you're serious. You don't skip steps because you know shortcuts steal results. You don't chase comfort because you've realized that everything you want lives on the other side of discomfort. You do what needs to be done because you refuse to be average. Consistency isn't always exciting. It's not glamorous. It's often repetitive, quiet, and unseen. But it's powerful, because every time you choose to be consistent, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. You shape your character. You reinforce your standards. You prove to yourself that you are dependable, resilient, and committed to your future, and that's the kind of identity that transforms lives. So when your alarm rings early and your bed feels warm, get up anyway. When your goals feel far away and your motivation is low, act anyway. When no one is watching and no one is praising, keep going anyway. When your mind screams to quit, whisper back, not today, not now, not ever, because I made a promise and I keep my promises. You've spent enough time drifting, enough time wishing, enough time pretending. Now it's time to live like you mean it. Now it's time to step into your potential with force, with certainty, with unstoppable momentum. You've got everything you need already inside of you. You just have to unlock it through consistent action. And don't you dare lower your standards to meet your current mood. Don't shrink your goals to match your laziness. Don't water down your dream just because you're tired. Rise above it. Choose discipline. Choose action. Choose to force yourself to be consistent, because the price of inconsistency is regret, and regret will haunt you louder and longer than any failure ever will. Your life will change the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses and start obeying your vision. Your future self is waiting for you, not the version of you that sometimes shows up, not the version of you that needs motivation to move, but the version of you that decided to show up regardless, the version of you who built their life by building their habits. Because in the end, it's not your talent that defines your success, it's your consistency. Talent fades, motivation fades, luck runs out, but consistency, that's the one force that compounds forever. And if you can master it, if you can show up again and again and again, there is nothing that can stop you. Not doubt, not fear, not failure, because you've become stronger than them all. This is your call to action. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, today. Make a commitment that you will show up no matter what. That you will chase mastery, not mediocrity. That you will become the kind of person who doesn't need reminders or rewards, because your future is enough. Your dream is enough. Your name is enough. Keep showing up, keep executing, keep growing, and watch what happens when you stack one consistent day after another. Watch what happens when you refuse to quit. Watch what happens when you force yourself to be consistent and never look back. Because when the dust settles and the crowds fade, and the noise dies down, the one who is still standing will not be the one who had the best luck, or the best connections, or the most talent. It will be the one who refused to stop. It will be the one who stayed the course. It will be you.